You had a wonderful day. Many good things happened. Perhaps a friend called with great news. Maybe you finished a project successfully. You might have enjoyed a delicious meal. Then, just one small thing goes wrong. Someone makes a slightly critical comment, or you misplace your keys for a few minutes. Suddenly, that one negative event seems to overshadow all the good. It sticks in your mind like Velcro. The positive moments, in contrast, often slide off like Teflon. This common experience has a name. It is called the negativity bias. This bias is a fundamental aspect of how our minds work. It is not a personal failing. It is not a sign of pessimism. Instead, it is a deeply ingrained tendency in the human brain. Our brains are naturally wired to pay more attention to negative information. We react more strongly to it. We also remember it more vividly than positive information. This happens to everyone. It's a universal feature of our psychology. Understanding this bias is the first step. It helps us see why we sometimes feel pulled down by minor issues. By understanding why our brains work this way, we can learn to counteract its effects. Negativity bias is our mind's natural tendency to give more weight to negative experiences. It means bad news, harsh criticism, or unpleasant events grab our attention more readily. They also stick in our memory longer and with greater intensity than positive ones. Think of it like this. Your brain is a highly sensitive detector. It is especially tuned to pick up signals of danger or trouble. This isn't because your brain to make you unhappy. It's because, from an evolutionary standpoint, this focus on the negative was incredibly useful for keeping our ancestors alive and safe. This bias is a legacy from our ancient past. For early humans, survival was a daily challenge. Dangers were everywhere. There were predators, scarce resources, and hostile environments. Missing a sign of danger could mean death. Therefore, brains that were highly attuned to threats were more likely to survive. This resulted in a brain that is, by default, more vigilant for the bad than appreciative of the good. Recognizing this automatic tendency is crucial. It allows us to approach ourselves with more compassion. Negativity bias subtly shapes many of our daily experiences. It often goes unnoticed, yet its effects are profound. One common place to see it is in performance reviews at work. Imagine receiving a report that is overwhelmingly positive. It lists many accomplishments and strengths. However, it also contains one or two minor suggestions for improvement. For many people, their attention will immediately lock onto those critical points. They might spend hours thinking about them. The praise, though far more extensive, can feel less impactful in comparison. This focus can lead to feelings of inadequacy, despite a generally good performance. Social interactions are another fertile ground for this bias. You might attend a party and have several pleasant conversations, but then there's one awkward moment. Perhaps you say something you later regret, or someone seems a bit distant. Later, when you recall the party, that single awkward moment might loom large. It can overshadow the many positive interactions. The world of news media also clearly demonstrates negativity bias. Bad news, disasters, conflicts, and scandals tend to dominate headlines. This is partly because such stories grab our attention more effectively. Our brain's structure and chemistry play a key role in the negativity bias. A small, almond-shaped region called the amygdala is central to this process. The amygdala acts like the brain's alarm system. It is constantly scanning our environment for potential threats. When it detects something negative or dangerous, it quickly springs into action. It triggers a cascade of physiological and emotional responses. This system is designed for rapid reaction. It prioritizes survival above all else. Negative experiences activate the amygdala much more intensely than positive or neutral ones. When you encounter something threatening, like a sudden loud noise or an angry face, your amygdala fires up. It signals other parts of your brain and body to prepare for fight or flight. This response is swift and powerful. Positive experiences, on the other hand, are processed too, but often less urgently. Thus, the brain's resources are preferentially allocated to dealing with the negative. The negativity bias doesn't just make us remember bad things more. It actively skews how we perceive the world around us in real time. It acts like a filter, or a pair of gray-tinted glasses. Through this filter, we are more likely to notice, interpret, and recall negative information. This means our subjective experience of reality can become more negative than the objective facts might warrant. We might miss positive cues or downplay good news simply because our attention is more readily captured by anything that seems even remotely threatening or problematic. This skewed perception can significantly impact our relationships. If we are primed to notice the negative, we might focus on a partner's occasional irritability. We might overlook their many acts of kindness. A single disagreement can feel like evidence that the relationship is failing. We might interpret ambiguous comments in a negative light. This constant scanning for problems can create tension. It can prevent us from fully enjoying the love and support that is present. Over time, this can erode trust and intimacy, even in otherwise healthy relationships. Our decision-making processes are also heavily influenced. The fear of loss, a powerful motivator amplified by negativity bias, often looms larger than the prospect of gain. While negativity bias is a powerful, ingrained tendency, we are not destined to be ruled by it. We can consciously work to rebalance our minds. We can train ourselves to notice, appreciate, and internalize positive experiences more effectively. This doesn't mean ignoring genuine problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means giving the good things in life the attention and weight they deserve. This process of rewiring takes practice, but the benefits are immense. One powerful tool is to savor the good. When something positive happens, no matter how small, take a few extra moments to really let it sink in. Don't just rush on to the next thing. Pause. Notice the pleasant feelings associated with the experience. Let them fill your mind and body for 10, 20, or even 30 seconds. Think about what made it good. This active engagement helps the positive experience to be encoded more strongly in your memory. Practicing gratitude is another highly effective strategy. Make it a regular habit to identify things you are thankful for. Actively working to overcome negativity bias brings a wealth of benefits. These benefits ripple through many areas of our lives. The most immediate change is often an improvement in our daily mood. When we consciously look for and savor positive experiences, we naturally feel happy. We experience less stress and anxiety. Small moments of joy, which we might have previously overlooked, start to register more clearly. This creates an upward spiral. Feeling good makes it easier to notice more good things, which in turn makes us feel even better. Life simply feels lighter and more enjoyable. Beyond immediate mood boosts, focusing on the positive builds long-term resilience. Resilience is our ability to bounce back from adversity. When our brains are not solely fixated on threats and dangers, we are better equipped to handle challenges when they do arise. We develop a stronger inner foundation of positive emotions and resources. This allows us to face setbacks with greater calm and perspective. We recover more quickly from disappointments. We are less likely to be derailed by life's inevitable difficulties. This inner strength is a cornerstone of well-being. Changing long-standing mental habits requires conscious effort and consistent practice. Overcoming the negativity bias is not a one-time fix. It is more like training a muscle or learning a new skill. The more you practice focusing on the positive, the stronger those new neural pathways become. Small, deliberate steps, taken regularly, can lead to significant shifts in your overall outlook and well-being. Be patient with yourself. Acknowledge that your brain is wired in a certain way for good evolutionary reasons. Now you are gently guiding it towards a new, more beneficial balance. Another useful tool is reframing negative thoughts. When a negative thought arises, don't just accept it as absolute truth. Challenge it. Ask yourself if there's another way to look at the situation. Is there any evidence that contradicts this negative thought? Are you jumping to conclusions or catastrophizing? Try to find a more balanced or constructive perspective. For example, if you make a mistake, instead of thinking, I'm a failure, you could reframe it as I made a mistake, and I can learn from it. This cognitive restructuring helps to weaken the grip of automatic negative thinking. It's also wise to be mindful of your information diet. To sum up, the negativity bias is a natural feature of the human brain. It evolved to help our ancestors survive by making them highly sensitive to threats. While this stickiness for negative experiences was once a crucial survival tool, in modern life it can often lead to unnecessary stress, anxiety, and a skewed perception of reality. It can make one bad comment overshadow a dozen compliments. It can make us dwell on our flaws more than our strengths. It can tint our world with a shade of gray, even when there is much brightness to be found. However, understanding this bias is incredibly empowering. It means we are not simply at the mercy of our automatic negative reactions. Knowledge gives us power. Knowing that our brain has this default setting allows us to take conscious steps to counteract its less helpful effects. We can choose to actively cultivate a more balanced perspective. We can learn to intentionally focus on, savor, and internalize positive experiences. This is not about denying reality or wearing rose-tinted glasses. It is about giving the good in our lives the attention and weight it truly deserves. The journey to a more positive mindset is a personal one. I encourage you to choose one or two of the tools discussed, perhaps savoring the good, practicing gratitude, or reframing negative thoughts.